My name is Jennifer Jesnel Gunawan, lesson number 068. Congenital hemolytic anemia is a result of red blood cells premature destruction due to congenital abnormalities in hemoglobin, red blood cell membrane proteins, or in red blood cells metabolism enzymes. It is characterized by a shortened lifespan of red blood cells, which normally has a lifespan of 100 until 120 days, and increasing erythrocytosis. Congenital hemolytic anemia is further divided into three categories based on its disorder, such as disorder of the red blood cell membrane, disorder of the red blood cell enzymes, and abnormal hemoglobin structures. Hereditary spherocytosis, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, G6PD deficiency, and alpha and beta hemoglobinopathies are the most common disorders found.
My name is Dia Ayusitari, student number 173, here to continue my colleague's explanation. Even though different types of anemia undergo different mechanisms to mediate hemolysis, the clinical manifestations of these anemias are quite similar. It has been reported that in 1 every 2,000 to 1 in every 5,000 Caucasians inherited spherocytosis. Like most medical conditions, if not treated well, patients can develop complications such as gallstone formation, thrombotic complication, infectious complications, and iron overload. All in all, it is mandatory to dig deeper in order to find out as many information as possible regarding CHA.
My name is Joko Istrapanti Pemayun with student number 252. Congenital hemolytic anemia are a group of rare hereditary disorder of red blood cell. Congenital hemolytic anemia are characterized by decreased red blood cell lifespan due to increased premature red blood cell destruction. Based on its etiology, congenital hemolytic anemia can be classified into three broad categories. 1. Red blood cell membrane defect, caused by dysfunction or alteration in the red cell membrane that leads to membrane abnormality. Hereditary spherocytosis, hereditary erythrocytosis, and the group of hereditary stomatocytosis are the typical example of red blood cell membrane defect. These disorders are characterized by abnormally shaped red cell, primarily due to molecular defect in spectrin and skeletal protein. 2. Red blood cell enzyme defect. Mutation or insufficient red blood cell enzyme production may infect some metabolic pathway that leads to congenital hemolytic anemia formation. Deficiency in G6PD and pyruvate kinase are the most common cause of the red blood cell enzyme deficiency. 3. Hemoglobin defect. Alteration at the level of erythrocyte may affect bone marrow erythropoiesis, causing hemoglobin formation defects such as globin chain imbalance in thalassemia and codon 6 mutation of the E-beta globin chain in sickle cell disease. Okay, thank you. Next.
My name is Arista, student number 237. So the hereditary spherocytosis is the most frequent congenital hemolytic anemia in Caucasians, with reportedly prevalence ranging from 1 in 2,000 to 1 in 5,000 and is characterized by highly heterogeneous molecular defects. In the other side, hereditary erythrocytosis, characterized by the presence of erythrocytosis in peripheral blood smear, is more prevalent in malaria regions in West Africa, and moderate to severe anemia may be present in around 10% of the cases.
Good afternoon, doctors. My name is Vanessa L, student number 121. There are three important components that play big roles in congenital hemolytic anemia. They are enzymopathy, hemoglobinopathy, and the membrane cytoskeleton complex. The enzymopathy may occur as a result of pyruvate kinase, glucose phosphate isomerase, phospholycerate kinase, C6PD, and glutathione reductase deficiency, which consists of Enden-Meyerhof and hexose monophosphate defect. Erythrocytes needs ATP for producing energy, so defect in enzyme pathway may lead to hemolytic anemia. These enzymes defect inherited in the autosomal recessive way except phosphoglycerate kinase, inducing lack of ATP conditions, and potassium ions leave erythrocyte. The second one, hemoglobinopathy, may occur because of thalassemia or anemia sickle cell. This condition could happen as a result of genetic defects in the alpha or beta globin genes. Lastly, the membrane cytoskeleton complex may occur because of hereditary spherocytosis condition. This condition is genetically heterogeneous, which could arise from a variety of mutations in several genes, causing membranopathy.
Hello, Dr. and friends. My name is Tiara, student number 105, and I'm going to explain about the pathogenesis of the disease. There are three main types of congenital hemolytic anemia. The first category is membrane defect. One of the type of membrane defect is hereditary spherocytosis. Here, the membrane protein that causes this condition is spectrin, ankyrin, BAN3 deficiency, and protein 4.2 defects. Spectrin deficiency occurs because of its defected synthesis, while ankyrin is a binding site for spectrin. Therefore, in ankyrin defect, it is followed by spectrin deficiency. This all will cause defect in erythrocyte membrane and will defect its cytoskeleton, resulting in spherical erythrocyte. The second is enzymatic defect. First, G6PD deficiency. In G6PD deficiency, the RBCs are more prone to stress and cause the hemoglobin denaturation seen as Heinz bodies and causing hemolysis, as G6PD is used to keep glutathione reduced for searching oxidative metabolites. In pyruvate kinase deficiency, a blocked pathway causes less ATP, which causes disturbance in cage gradient and lead to destruction of red blood cells. However, high level of 2.3-D-phosphoglycerate causes a shift to the right in hemoglobin oxygen dissociation. Last is hemoglobin defect. Starting from thalassemia. For alpha thalassemia, an excess of gamma globulin for baby and beta globulin for adult causes the beta chain to form HBH, which is unstable and will form Heinz bodies and damage the red blood cell. For sickle cell anemia, red blood cell contain HBS, which is a gene mutation that, when exposed to the deoxygenated environment, will polymerize and cause the sickle shape, prone to hemolysis. The sickle shape erythrocytes may lead to vasculopathy.
Hello doctor and friends, my name is Dona Ulisi Dauruk, student number 165. I will explain about the clinical presentations of congenital hemolytic anemias or CHA. CHA particularly present in infancy or early childhood with variable and not specific clinical presentations. The symptoms may be so limited and undetected at baseline. The patients, regardless of age, present with symptoms and signs of chronic and or acutely exacerbated anemia such as pallor and fatigue, and hemolysis such as jaundice, dark urine, splenomegaly, gallstone, indirect hyperbilirubinemia, and cholecystitis. CHA often result in a mild to moderate chronic level of hemolysis with mild to moderate anemia result that is well compensated by an increased rate of reticulocytosis at baseline. Although each of the CHA result in a baseline steady state and asymptomatic, exposure with infections, drugs, and toxins can result in unstable hemoglobins. Patients will experience increased rates of hemolysis and subsequent severe conditions because of oxidative stress. Moreover, patients with CHA are also at risk for gallstone formations. In case of hemoglobin breakdown, result in a higher concentrations of bilirubin in the biliary tract, which can develop into gallstones. Thank you.
Good afternoon, doctor. My name is Ardegita Pramesti, student number 044. Now I'm going to talk about the differential diagnosis. The differential diagnosis include the first one is neonatal autoimmune hemolytic disease. So there's immunological response between the infant antigens and the maternal antibodies. The most common is AB and rhesus antigens. The infants may exhibit the mild anemia and hydrops fetalis in the postnatal periods. They also have usually DAT positive. If DAT result is negative, then the laboratorium perform the indirect antiglobulin test with the serums of infant. The second one is childhood autoimmune hemolytic disease. So in the childhood autoimmune hemolytic disease is categorized into two, the primary and the secondary. The primary autoimmune hemolytic disease, the cause is not identified. Is further differentiated based on the temperature activity or at which the red blood cell antigen most reactive and causes agglutination. It's differentiated into two, the warm and cold autoimmune hemolytic disease. Meanwhile, for the secondary autoimmune hemolytic disease is associated with microorganisms such as Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, mycoplasma, etc. 22% of patients with secondary autoimmune hemolytic disease is linked with infection.
Hello, doctor and friends. My name is Nila Plusaswatashi Putri, student number 224, and I will explain treatment for congenital hemolytic anemia. Now, inherited cell membrane disorders can result in hemolytic anemia. Defects in the membrane structure leads to hereditary spherocytosis and hereditary erythrocytosis. Alteration of membrane transport function accounts for hereditary spherocytosis and hereditary overhydrated stomatocytosis. Corticosteroids are indicated in autoimmune hemolytic anemia, but for congenital hemolytic anemia, therapy is preferred. For hereditary spherocytosis, total splenectomy and subtotal splenectomy can be performed. For hereditary erythrocytosis, spleen removal can be done, and it is important to monitor iron status in hereditary spherocytosis and hereditary overhydrated stomatocytosis. Thank you.
My name is Shanti Dewi with my student number 142. Congenital hemolytic anemia can cause various complications throughout the body. Cases of transient aplasia and increased hemolysis in CHA patients can cause a worsened condition of anemia. Cholelets and thrombosis may also occur. So, what is cholelets? Cholelets is what you call the formation of gallstones. The hemolysis process in CHA triggers the increase of bilirubin from the breakdown of heme. So, this will cause a condition of high concentration of unconjugated bilirubin in the blood and eventually in the biliary tract. They will then pile up and the gallstone will be formed. When the patient got the inheritance of Gilbert syndrome too, the risk of gallstone formation will increase. Other than complications from the CHA, complications from the treatment might also happen. Blood transfusion is one of the mainstay of treatment of CHA. Chronic or more severe hemolysis cases will need a higher frequency of blood transfusion, and then an iron overload might happen. It is dangerous then, because iron overload is indeed life-threatening and can cause organ failures. High risk of thrombosis is another complication from treatment. Patients with chronic hemolysis already got a high risk for thrombosis indeed, but when someone went through the process of spleen removal or splenectomy, which is also a form of treatment, for some CHA cases, the risk will even be higher. So those are the complications of CHA and CHA treatments. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rismadania, number 195. So the prognosis that we can find in patients with congenital hemolytic anemia is generally good if we handle with good treatment. And the prognosis also depends on the severity of the patient. Judging from the case of cases, patients who undergo splenectomy have an increased risk of sepsis among children, adolescents, and adults. Overall, mortality rates are low in hemolytic anemias. However, the risk is greater in older patients and patients with cardiovascular impairment. Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Luisa, student number 018. To summarize, congenital hemolytic anemia is a group of rare hereditary disorders of the red blood cell, which is characterized by decreased RBC lifespan due to several abnormalities. Based on its etiology, CHA is divided into three subgroups: enzymopathy, hemoglobinopathy, and membrane cytoskeleton complex defect. CHA is particularly present in infancy or early childhood, with clinical presentations like anemia such as fatigue and pallor, and hemolysis, usually shown by jaundice, splenomegaly, and hematuria. Laboratory examinations might show decreased hemoglobin, reticulocytosis, elevated unconjugated bilirubin and LDH, decreased haptoglobin, and serum AST disproportionately higher than serum ALT. CHA needs to be distinguished from neonatal alloimmune hemolytic disease and childhood autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Splenectomy may be used for management of hereditary spherocytosis and elliptocytosis. It is not recommended for hereditary serocytosis and hereditary overhydrated somatocytosis. Destruction of erythrocytes and its products may cause transient aplasia, gallstone formation, and increased risk of thrombosis. Prognosis of CHA patients is generally good. However, greatest risk is found in older patients and patients with cardiovascular impairment. Thank you.